Welcome to Tech at Lunch, the podcast that satisfies your hunger for all things tech while you enjoy your midday meal. So grab your sandwich, tune in, and let's dig in. Hello, Nick.
Hello, Ed.
And, today we don't have, John with us. He is, he had some, I guess you could say, car issues this morning. Or this afternoon, so he couldn't make it. We hope that, those car issues are not too ungodly expensive. But we all know how that works. We've kind of been talking about, 3D printing and the fact of how do we recycle it and how are we, more able to work with it inside the environment and also the different types of filaments. But, this week we're going to kind of, take I guess you could say a back seat to that. And we're going to kind of aim towards an event we're heading to. We like to tell y'all when we, when we're going someplace. So, as we did with Rapid TCT 2023, we are throwing it out there that we will be at SouthTec MT Series 2023. Actually next week up in Greenville.
Yep, we'll be there. We'll see a lot of different technologies. We'll talk to a lot of companies that deal with different type of technologies, and we'll keep you guys in the loop of some of the stuff that we're seeing and some of the new innovations that's coming towards you guys.
We're definitely going to do because the thing is we'll be up there when we have to do a podcast. So we'll have a podcast do that Tuesday that we always do, since we always do Tuesdays. We don't want to let y'all hanging. Me and Ed will do a SouthTec Day 1 wrap up, because that will be the night of our SouthTec Day 1. It is in Greenville, South Carolina. So it is in our upstate, or in the upstate. And the big thing about SouthTec, it's an advanced manufacturing show, and it's something that we want to be part of. We want to get up there and meet with the guys, just like we do with Rapid TCT. We'll give you the same amount of coverage. Hopefully, we'll get more people we'll talk to a little bit. I know we're still working on the people that we're talking to from Rapid. So if you're listening to us from that show, we're definitely going to reach out to you. So give us a little bit of time. Things have been a little rough. It happens, I guess, when you start a Dr. World program. Things get a little bit anxious. So, some of the areas that we're trying to get into, I guess you could say probably the digital manufacturing area. Some of the advanced manufacturing stuff. So, what are you trying to get out of SouthTec?
I would be very interested in what we're doing with Industry 4.0 and how we're utilizing data. What is the movement forth with OEMs with data?
Makes sense.
Because it's beneficial for those guys to get data from the field in real time to understand some of the flaws or some of the things that they didn't anticipate when they institute these different type of technologies.
Makes sense.
The other thing I'm interested in is how can we do rapid prototyping?
Mm-hmm.
And
inline rapid prototyping?
Well, yes, and I mean, like, how are we using additive manufacturing to do rapid prototyping where we're not spending, say $100,000 to build some model? Mm-hmm. And I take a model from like some type of CAM program or some type of computer generated engineering type of program, and I'm able to make a 3D printed model where I can actually put my hands on it and see.
Right.
Okay, hey, that looks okay. It looks like what I did. So I'm interested in how are we going to do those type of things? How are we dealing with the data that we're getting from edge computing out to the cloud? If we're going to that, how are we utilizing MQTT? Yeah. What are we doing with IOTT? What are the things that these guys are doing that's going to, maybe elevate these guys in the future?
Mm-hmm. I'm right there with you. And I know, from looking at the attendees list and stuff like that, there's a couple people we want to go talk to. I think there's definitely, some things we want to get into. Some of those are, the future manufacturing areas, that they've got going on, where we can go talk to our the guys who do the foundations for pulling data for SCADA. They will be there, so we'll be able to talk to those guys face to face and actually have a conversation with those guys. Stuff that we see coming through like Siemens and Step 7 and stuff like that. Through what some of the other SCADA systems that we have out there. It's also like you said, not the additive, but I want to see what they're talking about with subtractive manufacturing. There's definitely going to be a lot of CNC equipment, up at this show. So being able to see what they're doing in the subtractive realm,
right?
That is supporting the rapid prototyping side of the house.
And I think even with the subtracting, I can actually build those models in different phases of subtracting to actually get an ideal. Hey, how much swarf am I going to have if I subtract this different part? Something else I just thought about, and maybe it's being provocative, but why are we not building dashboards into our technology?
Yeah, that's...
Why do I have to have a platform to pull data? Why shouldn't I be able to go to that technology and their KPIs already being capable of being assigned to a technology?
Yeah, you never know. We may say something like that there. I know there's a lot of AI teams that are going to be out there, companies out there kind of, doing what they do best. So, we hope maybe we get to talk to those guys. Maybe we'll bring them on the podcast and have a conversation with them. Really get to kind of pick their brain a little bit. Guys who understand this more than we do. Because when it comes down to it, I'll say this. I'm not a big subtractive guy. I'd love to learn more about 5-axis. And now I think they're starting to get to like 6 or 7 or 8-axis or something like that, I think it is now, where they've got the robots moving things around. But, that's something that, I would like to learn more about. And get involved with. How do I make sure that if I'm going to use subtractive or CNC manufacturing to rapid prototype a piece for inline manufacturing, how do I make sure it's at the right scale?
And the other thing I thought about...
How do I know it's at the right scale?
That's true, too. That's where I'm getting at with the KPI, the dashboard. So the KPI dashboard is something different.
Yeah.
So we should be able to do continuous improvement with whatever technology by having a web-based dashboard available that's configurable.
Right. I think that'd work too.
Okay. So the other thing I believe also is that why is it not to me? Why do we not have what I call black box technology? So when a plane crashes, there's a black box.
Yeah.
Every robot or every piece of 6-7 axis CNC equipment or anything that's using any type of automation should have a black box function. It doesn't have to be a physical black box, but we should build a black box API.
Yeah.
So when something happens or crash, that black box API, we can go to it and it captures, take a snapshot.
Yeah, tell you what happened.
Yep. And then I can take and analyze that.
Yeah.
And also that data can be sent back to the OEM to say, oh, we never thought that this could happen after so many cycles. Okay, now we know after so many cycles, we need to look at this.
Yeah.
And this helps to do improvement on their end, so the next cycle or development for them, they've already got the data ahead of time.
Yeah. Something that keeps running in the background even though the robot's off.
Reducing the engineering costs.
Yeah. And also reducing the fix time. So you know exactly what broke. Or you just have an idea what broke. It's like, what I'm kind of interested in also is seeing if companies are bringing out new AGVs. Or if there's any new robot cells that are coming. Stuff that we may not see now, what we do for daily living. But something that, we see that, okay, cool, now we see what the robot cell of the future is supposed to look like.
So,
I have a feeling that's going to change. How we see robot cells now, I have a feeling that, in the next, 5-10 years, the robot cell is going to change dramatically.
Yeah. Well, what I can see is cobots.
Yeah.
So I think cobots technology in the future is going to get even better because we're going to make the connectivity and the repeatability, and with AI and machine learning and some of those things we can add into the background of some of our technology and automation, we're able to actually use a cobot environment even better. So you may reduce ergonomic issues, you may reduce worker fatigue, you may reduce human error that happens because you have so many steps to do. You may also improve, production, because the repeatability of a cobot is, far superior than a human.
Yeah.
And the human is able to input its insight via machine learning to actually help improve the cobot. So I think with AI/machine learning with human oversight, can make the process even better.
I can agree with that. It's like I'm currently looking at the app too, trying to see kind of trying to get a kind of a step forward into trying to plan kind of an area that I want to go into. And I just came across a company called RoboLive. It's just to throw this out there. It might be somebody we talk to, might not be. However, what I'm seeing is this entire company is designing itself around robot commissioning, and also doing robot commissioning analytics, which I think is great. Something that every time we see a robot commissioned or something like that, we're lacking. And it's not because we don't try. It's sometimes because we don't try. But it's mostly because the data is not there, or somebody's not capturing the data.
Or there's no oversight.
Right, that too.
Now, if here's one thing I would like to see, Nick, in the future, is that when we use Agile, I would like to see automation go to an Agile platform where we're using the same mechanism as Agile, where we're documenting the whole process and we do not move forward until that is fixed to the next process. I think the waterfall protocol had its place in time, but I think even commissioning with automation on a shop floor environment should involve some type of Agile platform, and also there should be some, I would say, a depository or something where people can go and view this data in the context of, hey, here's the documentation, we put it in this data in a GitHub, you guys can go look at it in GitHub. After commissioning, we're going to shut this GitHub down, but at this point we can document and track through GitHub with an Agile platform. And at the same time, we are also doing fuzzing and whatever we need to do to verify the system.
Well, why can't I use, and speaking of this, which I love the idea, like a robo-agile. I think using the agile approach, the iterative approach for commissioning is great. I should have, weekly sprints. How far do I want to get this week? How far do I want to get this week? But now I want a retrospective that tells me, hey, what's going on? Then I can plan what I'm doing the following week. I think that's freaking awesome. The thing is I also think they need to go to like a Jira. Where they can mark their bugs in there and tell you if it's done, and it'll actually track your test plans. Okay, did you accomplish this test plan? Did you do this? Did you do that?
And we can even go as far as, hey, because humans do a lot more. Sorry, people. Humans do better when we have visuals.
Right, exactly.
So I think a dashboard would be awesome. And in the background, we actually have a list to go with that, with the documentation.
Yeah, where are we at in the commissioning
process? Yes, I think it should be some web-based or some cloud-based platform that we can go to and say, hey, here's our dashboard, here we are. Yeah. And the customer can go to there and say, hey, okay, I see that.
And like you said, the entire commissioning side of robotics and agile and automotive type of stuff, and the automation side of the world, everything is so waterfall. Unless you're inside the IT environment, which we deal a lot with agile, or try to at least. Will I say it always works? Hell no. Do we try? Maybe. But are we dead set on making sure this is agile? Not so much. It's because we don't have the team for it. Well, we do, but we don't have the availability of infrastructure. Put it that way.
However, if you can leverage AI
Right.
with machine learning with someone that I trust in our group
Yeah.
that's handling the agile part, and in conjunction with, like I said, there has to be rinse, wash, repeat protocols in place.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the thing is that needs to be standardized, across the industry, which getting that standardized across the industry is going to be very hard because everybody's so stuck in their ways that they don't want to move from anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is maybe some of the stuff we see at SouthTec may try to bend the status quo a little bit, and heading towards the more advanced manufacturing side of the house, as far as like MQTT, smart IoT, IoT environments and stuff like that. Stuff that proves that we must go to an agile-based commissioning approach going into the future to deal with Industry 4.0, which I don't think personally that you can go Industry 4.0 and stay waterfall. I don't think that's plausible.
Mm-hmm.
However, I will say this: there is not a commercial, like I guess you could say, automation certificate for an agile-based commissioning.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy if you think about it. When you think about how you want to do it and stuff like that, yeah, it's pretty straight to the point. Follow the agile principles, and build it from there. However, there may be something that the Agile Foundation's coming up with. Yeah, but we'll see. So but I think that going Industry 4.0 in an IoT environment, that you're starting to deal with a little bit differently.
So when we look at the automation stack, so the robots are not at the sensor layer,
Right.
so they're at basically the production. Basically, when you're doing your production.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what I'm saying is there's already capability in some of the PLCs to have these type of web-based applications that can do what we're talking about with a dashboard. All we're saying is if the customer does not want to share the information, that's fine. But the customer is able to internally use that information themselves. So for me, you should not extract data simply for gain, for profit.
Yeah.
You should have data points solely because I want to make the best product out there. I want to improve my product. I want to give the best experience to the customer that I can give. I want to gain confidence in the community. That should be anybody starting a company that's going to build any type of automation.
Yep.
That should be your platform. Everything else will come. Why is Apple superior to any other phone technology out there right now?
Yeah, they believe in iterative manufacturing
And trust.
and iterative engineering.
What do you trust about an iPhone as opposed to an Android-based phone at this moment? You don't have to worry about compromises.
Right.
The hardware is solid. They have developed the hardware to a point where nobody questions anything about an Apple hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Automation should be the same way.
Oh,
No one should question the hardware. The software should be solid, and it should be a noticeable difference, like when I'm looking at an eclipse and when I'm looking at the regular sun.
Right. And I think with that, you also have to trust the process, and I think that needs to be standard. Just like the hardware and the software all has to be standardized. I think that you're gonna have competitive companies. You're gonna have Siemens. You're gonna have Mitsubishi. You're gonna have all these guys,
Which is great.
Well, you're gonna have the really good competition there.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you've got enough of them to agree on a standard of commissioning, not a standard of software. I think a standard of commissioning, because they all have their own software that they use. I think if they have a standard of commissioning, you would probably be a lot easier, going into commissioning steps when running new lines.
I would argue there are already ISO standards out there.
Yeah.
It's just people, refute. The issue is not the OEM.
Right.
The issue is the guys that commission the stuff in the shops.
Yeah.
So the issue is the companies.
Yeah.
The company should adopt the OEM standards. You're buying the equipment from the OEM. You made the choice to pick whichever robot, whatever automation you want, whatever axis machine for CNCing, or whatever process you want to use for a programmable logic controller.
Right.
Or if you want to use SCADA or whatever system, DCS or whatever. You made that decision to go with that OEM. There should be a standard, which already is. I'm pretty sure there's an ISO standard that someone is following.
Hopefully.
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
There is no doubt that everybody follows some ISO standard. Now, what software they use is their business.
Right, exactly.
But there is an ISO standard for, hey, here's the structure of doing whatever.
Yeah.
Dealing with data. Here's a structure for dealing with bits. Here's a structure for dealing with data manipulation. Everybody has that. Everybody has some library. I believe the issue is with companies and the contractors or the suppliers, that the guys that are doing the work. You have to have a scope of work. You have to put in place a scope of work with competent people that understand how the equipment should work.
Right.
If you need something to do 20 jobs per hour, guys, come on. Yeah. I don't need something that's going to do 15. And in the future, we'll go another 5. If the scope of work is 20, then it should be 22. Should not be 20.
Right. And I think that, we might see it, and like we mentioned earlier, what we kind of want to see up there at SouthTec. I think that, if we can see more of the IoT side of the house and, the MSP side of the house, or not MSP, but the MQTT side of the house, is we need more, contractors who are more, I guess you'd say, Industry 4.0 savvy, that are rolling these systems out. They can say, okay, cool, while I'm at it, let me set this up for you. Let me make sure that's out of the scope of work. I don't think there should be a system that's in placed or commissioned without an IoT stack behind it that can collect the data, like you said, the black box, from all of this stuff that tells us, hey, guess what, dummies? This is what's going on. Or I've been ran this hard and put up this way. This isn't right. Something's broke. I haven't had a tip change, in a couple weeks. Because we've seen robots out there that, guess what? People forget, and the system doesn't warn you that it needs a tip change, and you get kind of crap wells.
But I go back to.
But the robot gives you a warning, though. But the thing is, if you don't have a device to pull the data, you ain't gonna know it's there.
So let's go back to. So now let's get off a little bit, just a second. Let's just side steps for just a second. You have a car that has multiple computers on it.
Oh yeah.
Microcontrollers or MCUs or whatever you want to call them. And it warns you when your air is low.
Yeah.
But if it's something that's critical to the system, say, I'm not cranking up.
Exactly.
We ought to have those same type of protocols in place because the OEM is working directly with the person that's buying. Here's an example.
You violated this standard, don't fire up. Don't move.
Yes. I'm going to give you a perfect example. Okay. You go to a jeweler and you say, hey, I want a ring that fit this size ring, this size finger. If the size of the finger is a 5, why are you ordering a 10?
Yeah.
Or why are you ordering a 2? The size is what it is. So when the OEM give you specification, I would argue that if I'm an OEM, I'm not going to sell anything to a person that has not come through my program and been certified that they understand how to install this equipment.
Makes sense.
I'm just not going to do it.
Right.
We won't do business with you.
Exactly.
There are some people that no matter what you do, all they care about is making a fast buck. And there are some people that's in your companies right now, all they care about is getting the check box.
Yep.
I would argue those are the people that's going to hurt your company in 10 to 20 years. And you may go out of business because you did not listen what people were saying when Industry 4.0 was coming. And Industry 4.0 is not just a number. It's a glimpse into the future of your company.
Yeah, it's the fourth industrial revolution.
And the fourth is data.
Right.
If you are not leveraging data, you will be out of business. I promise.
Yeah.
You will not be in existence. You will be Kodak.
Yeah.
You will be Kmart.
Yeah. It's like, the thing is Industry 4.0 being the fourth industrial revolution is, like you said, the wave of the future. That's why we go to these shows, that where we can learn more about that, so we can come back and talk more to you people and to all of our listeners about, hey, this is what this means. This is why you need to be on board. If not, get off the bus. And the thing is, we talk a lot about additive manufacturing. We do. I'll say that. However, additive needs to jump into the Industry 4.0 freaking mentality also, because I think it's behind the power curve. However, you start going into physical manufacturing, vehicle manufacturing, tool and die, and that type of stuff. Way behind the Barugal power curve here. If you don't commit to moving into the Industry 4.0 envelope, you're going to fall behind.
And I would argue there is one leader right now. Whether people find it controversial or whatever.
About Tesla?
Tesla's way ahead of everybody.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well ahead.
They believe in they believe in the whole data is new oil topic. They believe in, hey, we need to know everything that is going on to make the best available, vehicles on the market. Maybe not the, some people may argue they're not the best, but the thing is they're there, they're producing the most, but there's no one there to compete with them.
And who's getting updates and improvements to their cars in real time?
Yeah.
Other than Tesla.
Nobody. Over-the-air updates, they built that. They built the over-the-air update mentality. If you think about it, I know people kind of say, oh, Elon Musk, and they get kind of pissy about that. However, the dude ain't dumb. He founded SpaceX. When he founded SpaceX, technically he was using Tesla to fund the SpaceX venture. However, he founded that company with being an agile rocket company. They were an engineering company first, before they built rockets. Then they built rockets. And then, the thing is, if you think about it, these rockets are landing themselves. They're the first company to ever land a rocket. And was it 1,000 or so now successful landings?
Mm-hmm.
Some of these things have been up 9 or 10 different times and all landed on their feet. Unless they're used as side boosters for an all out heavy launch.
Because he's not a widget manufacturer.
Right. He wants to get the most data as he possibly can. He is the first person you saw when they came up with a new capsule. He was the first one to get Americans back into space.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't flying around Russian, stuff from the 60s. But, where they're using dials and indicators and pushing buttons with sticks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying they're Stone Age, but I'm not saying they're not. But they're what works. The thing is Roscosmos in Russia knows what's worked and what has not failed them yet. In their entire years, they've had one failed launch, one abort. That's it. They've also had a failure to deploy parachutes. However, that was during testing. And if you think about it, they've had one heck of a launch record.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very much so. Even though you say, oh, they don't because they had a leak. Guess what? It got hit with a micrometeor. They don't have a choice, right? However, SpaceX was the first people to bring touchscreens into the aerospace world,
mm-hmm.
as far as for rockets, using
mm-hmm.
tablets,
mm-hmm.
using touchscreens, doing everything via AI, where the darn thing pilots itself. Most of the time these guys can sit back, hang out and just wait for this thing to drift in space
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
until it gets there. I know they do more than that, but hey, the thing is, I love the space race. Anything, space related, I'm there for it. And the thing is, I support it, no matter who the company is. Roscosmos, even though some people don't agree with don't agree with what's going on in Ukraine right now, but
mm-hmm.
That's not on Roscosmos.
Yep.
That is on the other Nicolaides. But I'm right there, kind of trying to see what India's doing.
mm-hmm.
The fact that they had a lunar lander land. First ones.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, guess what? All right on you. Seeing what Japan's doing, what some of these other countries are doing. What are some of the other companies are doing out there?
mm-hmm.
Like Blue Origin. Blue Origin is still trying to go off the ground. They're using their rockets to run some of the new stuff from who was it? They're out of Huntsville, Alabama. One of the other rocket companies. I can't. Tory Bruno's company. Tory Bruno's company. So, but which is actually technically a joint venture between Boeing and Lockheed Martin. ULA, United Launch Association. They're using the engines from Blue Origin.
Okay.
So, but the thing is, they went to the touchscreen approach. Their capsule, when it comes down to the Boeing Dreamlifter. It's only made it to the space station once, and they're still waiting to launch again. So, take that with a grain of salt. But, we're starting to see more Industry 4.0, advanced manufacturing stuff hit different parts of every single piece of equipment.
Yeah.
From space to the new Dreamliner, which is 100% touchscreen.
Yeah.
Side sticks and all.
Yeah, I think the big thing with Industry 4... So really what's going on with Industry 4.0 is edge computing, the data that we're leveraging, and then looking ahead with AI or using machine learning in conjunction to help tune the AI is what I say.
Yeah.
And then human error correction. Those are the things that... Look, guys, I'm going to put it to you simply. For over 20 years, oil companies have been using IoT and MQTT technology for down-the-hole data.
Yep.
They have over 20 years of pressure, temperature, rotational speed, torque. They got this data. That's why they know when they go to drill a new hole what to expect.
Yeah.
Now, we've been doing PLCs for over 20 years, and there's so many different varieties, and no one has archived or no one has taken these data points and said, hey, what was good about the PLCs we installed and what was not. Yeah. We're too busy caught up with, hey, I want Allen Bradley, I want Siemens. It's no different than having an ARM or an Intel processor.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't matter what processor you have in place. How are you utilizing the processing power to improve or to increase the longevity of your company? I guarantee you, you can mark it, timestamp it, and mark it. There will be more than 90% of companies that are in business today that will not be in business in 20 years.
Oh, yeah. That's almost guaranteed.
In automation.
Yeah.
Because they are cavemen, and cavemen go extinct.
And the thing is the ones who want to be a part of the next generation of automation, that, want to look forward into the Industry 4.0 stuff and say, hey, guess what? I want to do things differently. And, the good thing is we may see some of that at the show that we go to. We may say, cool, these are the guys we want to be friends with. We want to have these conversations with these guys. We want to be involved with these guys. And, we want to give them our support because we see them doing something different. The thing is if you're an automation company and you're not afraid to be different, bend the status quo just a little bit, then you ain't gonna make it. If you're not attending, some of these shows out there, Rapid, SouthTec, EastTech, WestTech, those guys, the big shows put on by SME, you're not going to make it. You're not going to understand what is going to be the future of your industry. If you don't understand this is coming, you're going to be behind that power curve, and you're going to be hit in the face. Go, oh, I didn't know that was coming.
Yep. Are you just going to go out of business?
Right.
I mean that's how Siemens exists because Texas Instrument failed.
Yep.
Siemens solely exists in this environment because they bought out Texas Instrument automation process. They bought Texas Instrument PLC. Yep. They did not develop it. They took Texas Instrument PLC and then they turned it into their PLC.
Right.
So what I'm trying to explain to you is Texas Instrument did not improve, so they went away. Modicon did not improve. So they went away.
Yeah. And if you think about it, now you have a company, Siemens in general, if we want to stay on the Siemens idea, that is not afraid of iteration. They're not afraid to step forward and say, okay, we can do this. I had the opportunity to talk to the North America VP for automation. Their new automation stack going on in up in Charlotte when we were at Rapid. They're excited. They're excited about Industry 4.0. They want to be there. They want to be the front runners. But the thing is, they also know they need to be the front runner when it comes to the additive manufacturing side of the house too. Mm-hmm. They also understand that, hey, guess what? Not everything requires a PLC anymore. We can do a lot more with a lot less. And so you have some of these. And the thing is, if you think about it, why did Siemens go to the soft PLC that you're able to run in a Docker, or in a virtual machine with remote IOs on the floor that have IoT built into them?
Now Rockwell's
doing the same thing, mm-hmm. But now they're doing it as a service.
Yep.
Siemens hasn't gone to the at the service methodology yet, but I have a feeling that's coming. But the thing is it shows that these companies are shifting, and if you're not on board with the shift, you won't make it. That's not to scare anybody. That's telling everybody, hey, guess what? You need to start paying attention to the environment. What is going on. Industry 4.0, advanced manufacturing, manufacturing of the future, I guess you could call it now, is going to be the way we do things. It's how do I collect data? How do I use data? How do I spit data back out? And how do I make sure that I don't get lost in the proverbial sauce? When it comes down to, issues and incidents. How can I recover my line faster than most people do? How can I take an idea, recover it, and then keep proceeding forward?
So I will say this. I advise you guys to check on a guy called Walker Reynolds.
Yep.
He is one of the leaders in Industry 4.0. Actually, he does a series, Industry 4.0 Solutions. We do not have any affiliations with Walker. I've just been following Walker for a while and learned a lot of things from Walker. And he's not going to sugarcoat things for you. He's going to explain to you what the reality is of Industry 4.0. So I would advise you guys to just go, maybe check out Walker Reynolds. But what we have to do, like I said, some of the OEMs have to be the leaders. They have to push the boundaries because most of the companies are going to stick with what they had.
Yeah.
The typical lifespan of a industrial environment, so an operational technology environment, it's probably going to be anywhere from 20 to 40 years. So anywhere from 20 years in an automotive plant, depending on which shops you're in. So normally about 20 years for a paint shop. For a body shop, it could be anywhere from 8 to more years. Assembly is probably around 10 to 15. But say if you have a power plant, that's probably going to be 40 years plus.
Yeah.
Say if you have utilities, they're going to be 40 years plus.
Somebody's working, don't change it.
But the downside of that is our grid is more than 40 years old.
Right.
So we should embrace some of these tech. I'm not saying like throw out everything that's been a workhorse for us, but everybody has the issue. That's why we have all these KPIs. We've propagated so many KPIs that people don't even know what the KPIs mean.
Yeah, they just hear KPI. Ooh, I want a KPI.
There's so many dashboards that, what is that? What's the relevance of that dashboard?
Yeah.
We generate so many alarms on a shop floor in an automotive plant that you have to mask out the alarms. I argue that first, before you even make the first alarm, you should have an alarm philosophy that iterates the, what's normal, what's abnormal, and what is critical.
Right. I think that is
You should,
the best way of doing it.
you should have some type of philosophy. But anyway, we getting off topic a little bit, but I'm saying, like, guys, I'm telling you, if you don't learn anything from us, I know we've been really heavy on additive manufacturing. In the future, I would like to do a little bit of concentration on Industry 4.0, especially data related, how we can utilize those things. And like I said, it's coming in the future. We got a lot more topics to go before we get to that. But
I'm sure we'll come up with some after next week. I'm sure after day one.
Yeah, we'll probably have like a snapshot. But you know, I still think we got a lot of things to offer from additive manufacturing.
Yeah.
You know, and it may tie in. You know, but yes, of course, next week it's going to be. You know, we're going to be industry heavy next week.
Yeah, and the thing is I think that after day one we start getting a good idea of kind of what we want, you know, kind of what we want to get into and stuff like that, and we'll be able to come back and give a briefing on, you know, what do we see that's interesting, because the thing is there's 95 vendors or 95 booths at this at this show, so we're gonna split it up into 3 days. You know, we're gonna hit some, then hit the other, then keep hitting the other. You know, 8 to 3. Every day, maybe a little bit later when we get there a little bit later than usual. But the thing is we want to bring the best content we can from that event to you. You know, you might see some stuff pop up on YouTube. You know, maybe some shorts and stuff like that we kind of show you guys. You know, this is what's going on. You know, stuff we see. You know, stuff we want to be involved in. You know, stuff we want y'all to be a part of. You know, stuff that we want everybody to kind of get enjoyment of. Because I don't really see a whole lot of things on the YouTube about you know, SouthTec. And you know, didn't see much about it, so hopefully we can cover a lot of it, and you know, we can make sure that, you know, hey, you know, these guys brought it to the forefront. You know, this show is brought to the forefront. You know, then have it available for people out there to come and see it later. You know, so we're not trying to push it, and we actually get people out here who, you know, come to the great state, you know, South Carolina, come up north and, you know, come and see,
or down south if you're up north.
Right, or yeah, vice versa. You know, come down to the great states. You know, if you're in California, come to America. You know, just, you know, that's kind of how we see things. You know, if you are in California, we do welcome you to this side of the world. So come over, visit. Don't stay. But you know, in all seriousness, you know, we'll be in California next year for Rapid TCT. You know, there's parts of that state that I love. You know, San Diego being one of them. Get to go see a new part of the country, you know, over there in Anaheim next year. Never been up there. Probably driven through it, but never been to it, never stayed. So we're gonna spend a week, you know, in Anaheim next year. So, you know, definitely can't wait. Maybe go up to San Francisco, see a couple guys up there, and then come on down. So we'll work around that. We'll let y'all know when that's happening. But, you know, we want y'all to be involved. We want y'all to have a little bit of fun with it. Who knows? You know, we may talk Ed into doing a, you know, live stream. You know, while we're out there, you know, at SouthTec to kind of, you know, see what everybody's thinking, get people involved, and, you know, say hello and kind of, you know, walk the show floor.
Yeah.
So, you know, we may have some fun with it. So, but, you know, I think we've kind of hit the proverbial nail on the head, I think.
Yeah, I think we did a pretty good job.
So, you know, I want to say thank you. You know, we're reaching in. Actually, I'm going to look now because, you know, I don't want to give you all the wrong number. You know, we are creeping in on the 2,000 listener mark. You know, and we can't be more ecstatic. Actually, let me check. We're at 1,967 all-time downloads.
All right, guys.
Guys, we're going on it. We're actually 1971. Sorry, I just got the update just hit.
Hey, we're next week. We're going to be at 2,000.
That's what we want.
It's not a request. I know our listeners are going to make it happen. When we start SouthTec next week, we're going to be at 2,000.
Yep. You know, we're getting more and more listeners from all over the world, and we want to keep that happening. And the thing is we want y'all to come to us. You know, we want y'all to come and, you know, enjoy these shows and see what's out there. You know, I'm seeing, you know, some of the guys, you know, I'm seeing, you know, Poland, Singapore, Canada, which y'all are always here. So, Denmark, France, India, Norway, Saudi, in Turkey. We want y'all to, come out, come to some of these shows, come see us. The Canadians, I kind of give you a little crap, but you're always at Rapid TCT, and we love seeing y'all. I have a lot of good friends who are Canadian. So, we love seeing y'all, and we want to see more of y'all. If y'all are ever at a show, you see us walking around, you'll see us with shirts on that tell you who we are. Come up and say hello. We love talking to our listeners that are from all over the world. Me and Ed have had the opportunity to travel the world and, meet different people from different parts of the world.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we want to keep doing that. And if you have a show in your country that you say, hey, guess what? Y'all got to check this out. Let us know. Because guess what? We'll make it happen with you.
Yeah.
If you tell me that, hey, guess what? I have, this show going over in Singapore, for instance, because I know y'all got a pretty good additive manufacturing environment over there. We'll make it. We'll try to make it work. Maybe not be the first year, but we'll definitely make it a year. Same thing with some of the other countries. We'll definitely come out and try to help y'all. I think saw something Canada does do an additive manufacturing show. So, and I know that they've had Rapid TCT in Toronto a few times.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll definitely be going up to that. I love that city and I love that love that area. I know my dad's going to be in Vancouver soon, so definitely want to go check that out eventually. So, and also, like the Middle East side of the world, man. Y'all are killing it with some of this additive manufacturing stuff you guys got going on. We can't wait to see it. Come on over, hang out. If anything, we'll do dinner or lunch or whatever and have a conversation. Maybe bring on the podcast if we see you. So, we just want to say thank you. Thank you for giving us the time, the effort, the fact that you're listening to us. We appreciate it. Every single one of y'all, we give you some hell, but, we like having fun with it. We want y'all to have fun with us. We want y'all to joke around with us. We want y'all to, kind of pull our leg a little bit. We appreciate it. Check out the blog. We're trying to get more and more on the blog. I think we'll do some coverage on the blog from Rapid. Not from Rapid, but from SouthTec.
Mm-hmm.
I do need to put some blog stuff up there from Rapid. But the thing is, check that out. Printed Heritage. We're doing some big things over there. PrintedHeritage.com. Go check us out. We got that stuff coming. Vulcanar 3D, we got some stuff going on there, some shirts that we're coming out with a little bit more and more as we go by. But, I just want to say thank you for giving us a platform to talk on. We appreciate it. Let us know what we can do better, and let us know what y'all want to hear. We're more than happy to do it. So y'all have a good one, and talk to you later.
Yeah, I'd just like to say I appreciate all the support. I kind of feel the same way as Nick. The only thing I would say, guys, is we would greatly appreciate any input. If you guys are working on anything, we would like to showcase some of the stuff that you guys are doing. So send us some photos to our email at Vulcanar.
Yeah, info at vulcanar.com.
And we'd like to do like a showcase and show maybe the best additive manufacturing setup, additive manufacturing, even if it's you developing some CAD drawings or whatever, or have some new ideas of how to make 3D printing machines better. So some modifications you've done, we'd be interested in that.
Yeah. Or tag us on any social media at Vulcanar Tech.
Yeah, tag us. And then like if you're in the area, like we'll be in Greenville next week. Hey, come and hang out with us, guys.
Yeah. Let us know you're there, and we'll go have a beer or something.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one, and we'll talk to you later. That's all for this episode of Tech at Lunch. Thanks for tuning in and joining us for this tech-filled lunch break. We hope you enjoy the show, and don't forget to subscribe on all channels. And also, you can find us on YouTube under Vulcanar Technology Solutions. And join us for our next episode, which gets published every Wednesday at 8 a.m. All right, y'all. Have a good one. We'll see you later.